be happening here in the dubious waters of a long-neglected urban watershed? The answer, says Roger Castillo, is yes, and here's the proof. We first told you about Castillo's one-man crusade a year ago after he spotted a fish while hiking the river on his lunch break.
Ever since I seen that one glimpse of that one salmon, I just been, oh, wow, my friend wasn't lying. They're here. They've always been here. I counted three days ago, and I came here yesterday, and I got 7, and I came here today, and now it looks like there's at least 10 holding in here.
Castillo took us to hidden pools downstream where he says there are 50 or 60 more fish. It's tough to see, much less count them, but it's clear they can only make it so far upriver. And unless they're trapped and relocated, Castillo says they'll surely die.
These fish will end up trying to spawn or either just end up going belly up or try to move down and spawn, and if they do spawn, their eggs are worthless because they're going to end up, at the first storm we get, are going to end up in the bay.
There seems to be water enough to sustain the fish downstream, but Castillo wonders what impact the new river park will have on the fish. If it turns out there are more than just a handful of fish, and they are indeed trying to make their way upstream to spawn, then Roger Castillo asks one more question. If we're going to save the river, why not save the salmon? In San Jose, Rob Flatabo, KNTV News Special Edition.
Roger Castillo says he's been in contact with the State Department of Fish and Game, and there may be some help on the way. We'll let you know what happens.
He's coming around. See him?
They're hard to spot, but Roger Castillo knows just where to look.
Well, I think the fish are trying to tell us something here.
A computer test operator who works nearby, Castillo, during his daily nature walks here, has counted as many as 9 salmon and is convinced with a little help, those 9 fish could become 900 or even 9,000.
I mean, who wouldn't like to see a salmon spawning in their backyard? That's fantastic, you know? That'd be the ultimate goal right there.
That there are salmon here comes as no surprise, since the Guadalupe many years ago was a prime spawning ground. But what's intriguing and perhaps very significant is how they got here and why. They came from the bay, no doubt, but despite the garbage and pollution in the Guadalupe, these and other fish may be finding pockets of clean, cool water discharged into the river by industry and air conditioning.
I say we got a multiple use of water. We're in that the water that is condensed off of these units goes into the Guadalupe and is able to sustain a token fish life. And that we need to build on.
Crawford says the Guadalupe might be sustained for miles in such a way and work hand in hand with the river park improvements now underway.
It's kind of upsetting. I feel helpless.
If nothing else, Roger Castillo and his pals, as they watch for poachers, want the Guadalupe cleaned up in an effort to save those salmon already here.
My friends' grandparents told me that there was salmon here, and I want to save that for my kids and their kids. And they were here before us, so why don't we give them a chance to come back?
In San Jose, Rob Flatabo, KNTV, the San Jose News Channel.
Here's another one. The Guadalupe River runs through the entire length of the city, including downtown. It's home to an incredible natural phenomenon, large spawning salmon. But it's a miracle that might not last. Robert HANDA is near the Guadalupe River now to show you why. Robert?
Well, Mac, it is a miracle in a way. The Guadalupe River, with its path through downtown San Jose, is not exactly an ideal place for a salmon run. But as a biologist told photographer Don Fernandez and I tonight, the salmon here are a unique strain, real fighters. But as they try to survive, will they get a fighting chance? It is literally a time of life and death for the Chinook salmon, but these fish in San Jose's Guadalupe River are being cheated. State Fish and Game says poachers choke off free-flowing water and set up makeshift traps, catching and killing the salmon that are returning from the ocean to spawn, to lay their eggs and keep the life cycle going. Biologist BIANCA STREIF was studying the Guadalupe River tonight. STREIF helps run the USDA's salmon recovery effort. She says the local salmon are impressive and in danger.
The males are about this big in size, and I saw a couple today already. They came to show me the males, and the females are smaller, so they're not quite as big.
Now, we've been looking at some of the makeshift traps and some of the way people have been trying to catch these salmon. How much damage are they doing? How much of a threat?
Oh, I think it's a significant threat. There aren't a lot of fish. Obviously, this is a real unique system, and there's not a lot of fish that can survive this. And so the ones that are here really need to be protected. And by harvesting the few fish that do come here, you could have a severe impact on the population that's surviving these conditions.
Make them extinct altogether?
Yes.
Roger Castillo is a Guadalupe neighborhood activist trying to save the river from polluters and poachers.
When I went down there and found the barbecue going and fish trying to spawn so they can continue the cycle, and then I find a fish on a string and eggs are spewing out of it, and it ain't getting its chance to do the last thing in its life to come up here and do, I think that'll get to anybody.
Now, the USDA plans to make recommendations to make the Guadalupe River as well as other rivers better habitats for salmon. Also, the state fish and game warden told me tonight that they need the public's help in catching poachers. Otherwise, they may have to take more drastic measures, such as banning all types of fishing all year round at the Guadalupe to give the salmon that fighting chance. Reporting live in San Jose, Robert Honda. Mac, Anna, back to you.
Robert, how have the poachers been able to escape?
Well, it's kind of a twofold problem. For one, they are very good at bottling up the river and creating these bottlenecks and then using fishing carts and mesh and other things that kind of look like debris when you first glance at them, so they don't look like sophisticated nets. Also, the warden told me tonight that the big problem is that it's still only a misdemeanor with about a $2,000 fine, and so the poachers are pretty brazen about it.